Assalamu alaikum, let's dive into this amazing story together. Hey, so, you want to know about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his early life in Mecca, and how his following grew? It's a fascinating story, really crucial to understanding Islam. It's not just dry history. It's about a person, his struggles, his faith, and the incredible impact he had on the world. Imagine Mecca in the 6th century CE. It wasn't just any city. It was a major trading hub, a crossroads of cultures, brimming with life, but also with a lot of social and religious tension. Think bustling marketplaces, powerful tribal families constantly vying for power, and a religious landscape dominated by polytheism. Lots of different gods and goddesses were worshipped, alongside idols in the Kaaba, a cube-shaped structure at the heart of the city. It was a complex society, a bit chaotic even, with a strong emphasis on tribal loyalties and social status. Now, picture a young man, orphaned at a very young age, named Muhammad. He grew up in the care of his uncle, Abu Talib, learning the ways of the desert, the value of hard work, and the importance of community. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege. He was known for his honesty, kindness, and his deeply thoughtful nature. People naturally gravitated towards him. Even before his prophethood, he was already respected as someone trustworthy and just, someone who would mediate disputes and seek fairness. He was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. This reputation would become incredibly important later. Then, when he was around 40, everything changed. Muhammad, PBUH, began receiving revelations from God through the angel Gabriel. These revelations, gradually compiled into the Quran, spoke of one God, Allah, the creator of everything. It was a stark contrast to the polytheistic beliefs prevalent in Mecca. It called for monotheism, justice, compassion, and submission to the will of God. It was a revolutionary message, directly challenging the established social and religious order. Imagine the impact of that message in Mecca. Many people, especially those clinging to the old ways, were resistant, even hostile. The powerful elites, whose wealth and status were tied to the existing religious system, saw Muhammad, PBUH, as a threat. They feared losing their influence, their power. Some mocked him, others tried to discredit him, and some actively persecuted him and his early followers. But Muhammad, PBUH, didn't back down. He started preaching his message, first privately to his family and close friends, then gradually to a wider audience. He wasn't forceful. His approach was gentle, persuasive, and on showing the truth and beauty of Islam through his own actions and example. He showed compassion to the weak and marginalized, advocated for the oppressed, and stood against injustice. His message resonated with those who were disenchanted with the existing system, those who sought spiritual truth and social justice. Slowly, but surely, a following began to emerge. People from different tribes, different social backgrounds, started embracing Islam. They were drawn to the simplicity and purity of the message, to the sense of community and belonging that Islam offered, and to the personal integrity of Muhammad, PBUH. This growth wasn't easy. The early Muslims faced intense opposition, persecution, and even torture. Many were forced to emigrate to Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, seeking refuge from the escalating hostility in Mecca. But even amidst the hardship, their faith remained steadfast. Their belief in Muhammad, PBUH, as the final prophet of God, and in the message of Islam, strengthened their resolve. The story of Muhammad's, PBUH, early life and growing following in Mecca is more than just a historical account. It's a testament to the power of faith, perseverance, and the strength of conviction. It shows how a single person, armed with truth and unwavering belief, can challenge the status quo and inspire profound change. It highlights the importance of upholding justice, compassion, and the dignity of every human being. It's a story of struggle, resilience, and ultimate triumph, a story that continues to inspire millions of Muslims around the world. And that's why it matters so deeply in Islam. It's the foundation upon which the whole religion was built, demonstrating the crucial role of faith, resilience, and unwavering belief in the face of adversity. Hey, so you wanna hear about the Prophet Muhammad's early life in Mecca? It's a fascinating story, really lays the groundwork for everything that followed. Imagine Mecca back then, bustling, a major trading hub, a melting pot of different tribes and cultures, all crammed into this valley. It was hot, dusty, and incredibly competitive. Think of it like a modern-day metropolis, but with camels instead of cars and a whole lot more tribal politics. Muhammad, peace be upon him, born an orphan, was raised by his uncle, Abu Talib. He wasn't exactly born into riches, more like comfortably middle class. But the early loss of his parents shaped him deeply. He learned the value of hard work, tending sheep as a young boy, absorbing the harsh realities of desert life. This experience, I think, gave him a deep empathy for the struggles of others, something that would define his later life. He wasn't just a shepherd though. Even as a young man, he was known for his honesty, his integrity. People trusted him implicitly. He was respected for his character. This wasn't just some religious title slapped on later. This was earned through his actions. They called him Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. Think about that for a second. That's a huge deal in a society built on tribal alliances and trust. Before he received any revelations, he was already a respected figure in Mecca. Then came the pivotal moment, the turning point. He started receiving revelations from God, through the angel Gabriel. This wasn't a sudden, dramatic explosion, more like a gradual unfolding. A series of experiences that changed him profoundly and, ultimately, the world. Imagine the pressure he must have been under, grappling with these incredible messages, while in to make sense of everything within the cone of his life and the beliefs prevalent in Mecca. At the time, at first, he shared his revelations privately with his closest family and friends. Khadija, his beloved wife, was one of the first to believe in him, offering unwavering support. Abu Bakr, a close companion, also became one of the earliest converts, showing unwavering faith in the face of growing opposition. These early converts weren't just following blindly. They'd witnessed Muhammad's character firsthand. His integrity, his compassion. Their faith was rooted in their belief in him as a man. And then in the message he was conveying. The initial message was simple. The oneness of God, Tawhid, a profound rejection of the polytheistic beliefs dominant in Mecca at the time. The Meccans worshipped many gods, often idols and ancestral spirits. This wasn't simply a matter of changing religious practices. It was challenging the very social and economic structures that were built around this polytheism. Many of the idols were linked to specific tribes and their wealth. So challenging their worship was essentially challenging their power. Word of Muhammad's teachings, his profound message of monotheism, justice, and compassion started to spread. Slowly, but surely, people started to listen. This wasn't through grand pronouncements or massive campaigns. It was through personal connection. through witnessing the transformative effect of his message on those around him. It was a grassroots movement. His followers, the early Muslims, were drawn to the simplicity and beauty of his message, and to the integrity of the man himself. They found solace in the promise of a just and compassionate God. A stark contrast to the often harsh realities of life in Mecca. But the growth of Islam wasn't without challenges. The Meccan elite, whose power and influence were threatened by Muhammad's teachings, began to persecute the early Muslims. They faced ridicule, social ostracization, boycotts, and even physical violence. This period of early persecution cemented the faith of the early converts, strengthening their resolve in their belief in the truth of Muhammad's message. It created a sense of shared adversity, of brotherhood, which was incredibly powerful. Despite the adversity, the community grew stronger. The message resonated with those who felt marginalized, those who longed for justice and equality. The early Muslims helped each other, supporting one another through the hardship. This sense of community, this unwavering support, became a defining feature of the nascent Muslim community. It wasn't just about belief. It was about action, and about looking out for each other. This mutual support network became a lifeline during those dark days, proving the practicality of the message in the midst of intense opposition. The story of Muhammad's early life in Mecca and the growth of his following is a testament to the power of faith, the importance of integrity, and the enduring strength of community. It's a story about a man who dared to challenge the status quo, and about a message that resonated deeply with the human heart, even in the face of intense opposition. It's a story that continues to inspire millions around the world, even today. So, yeah, that's a little glimpse into those early days. It's a much bigger story, of course, but a good starting point, right? Hey, so you want to hear about Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his early days in Mecca? It's a fascinating story, really. It's not all sunshine and roses, believe me, but it's powerful. You know Mecca, right? Even back then, it was a bustling hub, a crossroads of trade and different cultures. Think bustling markets, caravans coming and going, a real melting pot of people. But also incredibly tribal, strong family ties, powerful clans vying for influence. It was a complex world. Muhammad, PBUH, was born into the respected Banu Hashim clan. But they weren't the most powerful. His father died before he was born, and his mother passed away when he was quite young. He was raised by his grandfather, then his uncle, Abu Talib. Now, Abu Talib was a powerful figure. But still, being an orphan in that kind of environment, it's not easy to imagine. But Muhammad, PBUH, was known for his honesty, his kindness, even as a young man. People trusted him, even his rivals respected his integrity. He was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. He worked as a shepherd, then got involved in caravan trade, becoming a successful merchant. He was known for his fairness and his skill in settling disputes. He was really well liked. Then came the turning point, the revelation. Picture this. He's alone, meditating in a cave on Mount Hira, seeking spiritual clarity, a common practice back then for people seeking guidance. And that's when he received the first revelation from God, through the angel Gabriel. This wasn't some subtle whisper. It was a profound, life-changing experience, a message that shook him to his core. Now, this wasn't something he just decided to do. The idea of prophethood wasn't something easily accepted in Mecca at that time. There was a diverse religious landscape. People worshipped various idols, and the Kaaba, The sacred house at the center of Mecca was a place filled with statues of deities. It was a polytheistic environment, and the prevailing social and economic order was closely tied to this religious system.